When Shari finally decided to speak out, she didn't hold anything back. For years, viewers had seen her as one of the central figures on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, a beautiful, driven woman who seemed to balance marriage, motherhood, and business with grace. On screen, she and Martell Holt were first introduced as the perfect power couple. They were successful in real estate, active in the community, and appeared to be living a life most people would admire. But as time went on, cracks began to show. The happy image slowly fell apart, and the world got a glimpse of the pain, betrayal, and public drama that was unfolding in Melody's life. What most people didn't know, however, was that the story shown on TV was only a small fraction of what was really happening. Melody revealed that behind the polished scenes, the drama was far messier and far more personal. According to her, the betrayal she endured was not only from Martell, but also from friends, co-stars, and even people behind the scenes who had the power to shape her image on television. She made it clear that what viewers saw on TV had been carefully edited, often in ways that worked against her. Scenes were cut, storylines were twisted, and moments of her strength and grace were downplayed, while her reactions during painful moments were highlighted for maximum drama. From the very beginning of her marriage troubles, Melody says she felt like she was fighting a battle on multiple fronts. Martell's affair with Ariane Curry was no secret to the public. The infidelity was talked about everywhere, on social media, on the show, and in interviews. But Melody claims that the betrayal was much deeper than the cheating itself. She says Martell not only disrespected her as a wife, but also used the platform of the show to manipulate how the audience saw him. Instead of taking full accountability for his actions, he allegedly tried to twist the narrative, painting himself as misunderstood or even as the victim. What made things worse, Melody claims, was that some of the producers seemed to support Martell's side of the story. She hinted that certain people behind the cameras worked to protect his image while letting hers take the hits. According to Melody, moments that showed Martell in a bad light were sometimes softened or left out entirely, while moments that showed her as angry or emotional were kept in and even emphasized. This left viewers with a version of events that wasn't balanced, making her look bitter or unstable when in reality she was fighting through betrayal, public humiliation, and emotional abuse. Melody says she considered walking away from both the marriage and the show many times. She wanted to protect her mental health, her dignity, and most importantly, her children. But she also knew that if she left too soon, her truth might never be told. So she stayed, enduring situations that were mentally and emotionally exhausting, in the hope that the real story would eventually come out. She recalls moments when Martell crossed boundaries even after their split, showing up unannounced, calling her during filming, and even using their children as leverage in the midst of a public custody battle. But Martell was not the only one who disappointed her. Melody spoke openly about how deeply she felt betrayed by people she had once called friends. She pointed to Destiny Payton as someone she once considered a sister. They had shared laughs, tears, and personal moments off camera. Melody says she trusted Destiny, only to later feel that Destiny turned on her when it suited her. Destiny allegedly began siding with Martell in certain situations and even shared private conversations that were never meant to be public. For Melody, this cut almost as deep as the betrayal from her husband. Then there was her long-standing tension with Letitia Scott. Their disagreements had been building over time, but things reached a breaking point when Letitia accused Melody of trying to break up families. Melody found this accusation especially hurtful given that her own family had been torn apart by Martell's actions. She responded firmly, saying, "I didn't destroy my family. Martell did. And if me standing up for myself offends someone, maybe they should check their own marriage." Melody says the tension between her and some of the women on the cast was not just natural conflict, it was encouraged by producers who wanted explosive scenes. She claims the show's team sometimes staged moments or pushed certain conversations to provoke her. For example, she describes arriving on set without knowing that others had already been told to bring up certain topics to spark arguments. She would be caught off guard, ambushed on camera, and then left to deal with the fallout while the others knew exactly what was coming. One of the hardest moments for Melody came after filming a particularly toxic scene. She says she walked off set, got into her car, and sat there for over an hour just crying. She questioned why she was allowing herself to be part of something that hurt her so deeply. It was in that moment that she began to realize she couldn't keep going the way things were. Even reunion specials, which were supposed to be a chance for the cast to clear the air, often became opportunities for group attacks. Melody says she was sometimes the clear target, with multiple cast members confronting her at once while no one from production stepped in to keep the discussion fair. She describes these moments as verbal ambushes designed for television drama but damaging to her as a person. As Melody continued to share her side, it became clear that she believed there was a bigger power dynamic at play. She spoke about a hierarchy within production where certain cast members seemed to have more influence over what got aired, more protection for their image, and more control in shaping storylines. She suggested that some people weren't just cast members. They were players in a larger game. She hinted that Carlos King, the show's executive producer, had more involvement in shaping the drama than people realized. Without naming every name directly, she left clues that pointed to favoritism and selective editing. She said some cast members were even allowed to review footage before others, and scenes showing her in a strong or positive light were sometimes shortened or cut altogether. In contrast, her moments of pain or anger would be left intact and prominently featured. Melody says she felt used, valued for her ability to attract viewers and stir conversation, but not protected or respected as a person. When she tried to address these concerns, she says she was met with dismissive responses, subtle threats, or sudden changes in how she was promoted. She claimed she was told, in no uncertain terms, to stay in line if she wanted to remain part of the brand. This raised an important point for Melody about the entertainment industry, especially for Black women. She says there's a double standard where they're expected to be strong, bold, and outspoken for the sake of ratings, but when they demand fair treatment, they're labeled as difficult or problematic. Melody refused to accept that label. She decided she wouldn't be silent any longer, even if speaking up cost her opportunities. She began using her own platforms, Instagram Lives, interviews, and even her music, to tell her story in her own words. She stopped letting the network control her narrative and started giving fans the raw, unedited truth. This move brought her even closer to her supporters, who began questioning the show's behind-the-scenes tactics. Many of them rallied around her, calling out the favoritism and toxic dynamics they had overlooked before. Then came a bombshell. A leaked email thread, allegedly between members of the production staff, appeared online. The emails discussed managing Melody's screen time to make sure she didn't dominate the show too much. While the network never confirmed the email's authenticity, their contents matched many of Melody's claims. To her supporters, it felt like proof that her storyline had been deliberately controlled. Through it all, Melody refused to be broken. She turned her pain into purpose. She poured her energy into her skincare brand, 7th Avenue Premier Skincare, building it into a 6-figure business from scratch. She connected with women across the country, offering not just products but messages of healing, confidence, and self-worth. She also taught real estate classes, empowering women to create financial independence. She even released music that told her story through powerful lyrics and emotional delivery. Melody's journey shows that no matter how much people may try to control your narrative, your truth will always have power. She proved that it's possible to rise above betrayal, public humiliation, and professional manipulation. And in speaking out, she not only freed herself from the control of others, but also inspired countless women to stand up for themselves, protect their peace, and build their own legacy.